Hello, Shroomies YouTube. Hope you're having a great day. We are doing our update on day 23 on our server 1833 account. As you can see, as the free-to-play on this server, I am really progressing well on my campaign. I'm actually ranked second. I'm probably going to be the second Shroomie that finishes Chaos 3 at the pace I'm moving. So what made this build so effective and so good at clearing campaign and just simply getting ahead by getting a little bit of extra gold and lamps for campaign? Well, it all comes down to taking advantage of CC chains and the time statue. So what happened in the last week is we will go into this video and talk about some of the key tips around how to now effectively build now that you have unlocked pretty much all of the red pals that you need and all of the red skills that you need to make these build effective. Yes, you can get some immortal skills from the shop. For example, Whirly Snare from the Family Brawl shop, as well as 100 Slashes from the Crossover Arena, but it's actually not required for you to do this. What's important is actually unlocking a lot of your statues so that you are able to actually get your time statue. Over here, all of your necklaces here, it's nice to have. The key one you actually want to do is finish all of your unlocks so you can start unlocking spores. And in here, there will be two really important spores that I'll probably talk about next video when we probably get to the last video probably in this series around talking about enchants before we go into my main account and start talking about like how do you progress from mid game to late game. So in terms of your early game progression, again, all of it comes from getting to the stage where you can really push a lot of stages by having an effective build. We're probably maybe 3 to 5 worlds from pretty much getting one shot by bosses where this technique won't work, but for anywhere you're at up to maybe mid to late chaos, you should be fine. Then when you go into the infinity stages, that's when you start worrying about getting one shot. You definitely want to start having blitz assault instead of relying on here. You still can use immunity book for a lot of your builds. So what does the build really revolve around? And as I mentioned here, it goes around, first of all, let's make sure we're picking the right substats and building your damage out effectively. So like I mentioned, at level 100, you want to switch over to the archer class to be the most effective in PvE. In terms of getting your gear, focus on combo and crit. And you can see so far I got, I think, 4 pieces that are perfect. I think these are the 2, and I think I got like one more here. I think, yeah, there we go. That's my 4th piece. And yep, 4 pieces so far. So not bad luck-wise. I'm lamp 23. 4 more, so 40 mil until Aureus, and that is going to be kind of the next progression goal here. You should be slowly working on your ascension, which is coming from here. Go into your cross server. Make sure you do your battles every day. And if you can, buy 2 tickets, I would recommend at least, so that you can get some extra points. It's worth it. It will add up. It'll help you with your progression a little. And in the shop, you need to be buying once a week Awakening Crystal. So it takes about 6 weeks for most players to be able to awaken. Anywhere between 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 weeks is usually how long it takes to awaken. And you'll probably be getting like 2 red souls before you even get to full eternal. So you're thinking about 3 to 4 months into the game when you're really into kind of a mid to late game stage, especially if you're at a free to play. So now you kind of focus on what to build here, because now we have souls unlocked, right? In the last video we talked about souls. You can see I prioritize leveling of combo damage as well as then crit damage bonus and then attack. These are the 3 souls you want to prioritize, because now you have a lot of crit and crit damage, so you're effectively multiplying all of these numbers together when you're doing damage. So here So 80% of the time, I'm going to be doing 34 times of what my basic attack damage will be, right? Like, or I guess, whatever my attack is, right? So the way I'll spend some time talking in a separate video, just specifically about how the damage formula works. But your damage basically is going to be your attack minus the enemy defense. For combos, if you get a combo, you're going to be multiplying this number and then multiplying the crit damage again if you get a roll on your crit. So that's why if you have 100% crit and 100% combo, you're going to be multiplying the combo multiplier with the crit damage multiplier with your attack minus the defense for enemy, on top of any other, I guess, defense resistance, damage resistant multipliers the enemy have, or you have, damage amplifying effects combined together. So that is a huge amount of damage if you can scale all of these things together effectively. This is how archers do a ridiculous amount of damage, is through combos and combo multipliers with crit damage multipliers. So with that being said, right, like that was a misclick the other day in terms of unlocking, but you can see I haven't even started on these. I didn't even finish the tech item here. I haven't even started on these tech on purpose, waiting for the next tech event. Like here, I'm basically holding back on all the various upgrade. You can see my Shroomie farm, my statue. Sorry, let me go over to my statue. My statue is very mediocre, is 3 combos and 2 attack. And I can definitely roll for triple S, like all SS, but I'm going to wait until the next prayer event to do that, just so that I can actually get some more rush tokens. And, getting the prior mount was like the most important thing for Archer. That's a huge boosting DPS, and it is the best mount for free-to-play archers. So the last part I'll say in the build is really important, is to make sure you have a Michelle, because having a Michelle allows you to stun the enemy for 0.5 seconds whenever they take 50 instances of damage. All of your combo hits, so combo hits as an archer here, if you read your skill here, class, you're taking 2 extra shots during your combo. Once you get to plume, it happens even more frequently. You get 3 extra shot per combo, and that allows you to do a whole bunch of extra hits. So if you think about it, like that's every second with, you do 4 attacks, then you do combos coming out. So that's like 12 attacks per second. So, and then plus all of your pals doing damage, right? So pretty much every 3 seconds, you're getting a half-second stun. That's how it increases my survivability a ton. And of course, Michelle does damage to targets current HP, allowing me to effectively shred away at the enemy a little bit more. You do want to have, combo Shroom at least. Ideally, you have the rage bonus for crit damage, and then any of these multipliers for increasing global combo. Ideally, you have against the boss for more boss damage, but we're still very early, so continue to breed away until you get the AVN that you need and you want. So still a lot of work to do for sure over there. Now, what you can see is on the build front, the core build focuses on slow, right? Everything else either increase combo, cooldowns, or crit damage and attack speed. And what we do here is you now have 80. You want to use Thorn Thicket. This green skill is the shortest cooldown, but it allows you to have 40% slow on the target. So you have very good coverage. With the cooldown, you're pretty much casting this every 6.7 to 7 seconds or so. So that means like majority of the time, the enemy's going to be slowed 80%. So they're going to be walking towards you very slow. Even if they're range enemies, they're not going to be hitting you while you hit them for like about 3 or 4 seconds. Like for example, this one here, right? If they're melee enemies, they're pretty much never going to get to you, and you're basically killing them for free without worrying about taking any damage. From there, you want to build in and time your skills so that for boss stage, for example, the one that's coming up, if it's a range hero, you want to put the disarm onto the enemy right at the moment when they are able to actually attack you. Here you can see the melee boss with all of the stun and the slow. it's not even able to reach me before I knock it out. So that's why, you know, slow build is far more effective than trying to disarm the boss, trying to do any of these things. This is basically how you effectively clear stages a lot. The same concept happens here, right, in soul acquisition. So soul trials is super important, because soul trials is where we get more soul shards. And you can see, you know, even with 500% multiplier. So here's some demo on some of the range bosses, right, with this build. I am, you know, just completely CCing the enemy right up front. They're never able to get to me, and time statue increase the duration of those CCs, and it works incredibly well. You can use your preset, and so right now I'm actually set up to fight bosses where I actually want to use my damage immunity first. So then I get hit even if it's by a range boss, and then later on at the 16th second, basically I'm able to disarm them one more time. But basically what you want to do is play around with the timing of the disarm and the stun, just so that you're able to maximize the control on the enemy, time it together with your boss immunity relic to get that 3-second in. Because at this early in the game, it's really, really hard to get Blitz Assault. Once you have Blitz Assault combined with boss damage immunity plus these 2 CC skills and time statue, you can literally go into 2 full cycles where you're not taking any damage from the enemy boss, giving you ample amount of time to DPS down big bosses and advance much further than you know, people who are at the same spending level as you. So hopefully, you know, you found, you know, these build examples much more effective, and show you kind of how to really take advantage of archer builds here. So you can see I am really close to clearing it. The last thing I'll say, you know, I'll do a quick plug for Aptoy at the end of the video. And of course, if you find this really helpful, please like and subscribe. What I try to do on my channel is really just giving people tips and guides so they can, you know, make the most out of their account and progress as far as they possibly can. We do have a spending event on right now, and right now, like, if you're buying things like this, you're getting double the gem. But if you're buying it through Aptoid, you can actually spend a little bit less. So here with the Aptoid wallet, you can see I actually have spent already enough that it actually accumulates savings for me into my Aptoid balance. But if I use PayPal here, see, I can actually, first of all, I don't pay taxes compared to, you know, Apple or Google Play Store, but I also earn AppCoin credits towards these purchases, which then I can pay directly for any purchases through the balance that's accumulated over there. The part I'll say is, you know, to make this work, basically in the link in the description below, it'll tell you how to install the game through Aptoid instead. So reinstall the game through the through this Aptoid Play Store, and then through the Aptoid Play Store, you can then install the AppCoin wallet. So this works for multiple games and allow you to accumulate savings as you make purchase on different mobile games that you play. I hope you found this really helpful, and hopefully, you know, by explaining this build to you, you're able to progress through all sorts of different content. Now, if you are, for whatever reason, this is not working out for you, I will also share with you one other build that, you know, in theory that could work also as well. So like what I do is I also have alternative build. Instead of using the snail, you want to use the deer. And then the idea is you go straight into the CC chain. So for certain bosses, so for example, like when we are fighting and we're trying to maximize damage on, for example, Blazing Cave, right? Or on the daily boss over here, so that we can, you know, rank high and be able to get additional rewards from this. So you can see, you know, every day, based on your ranking, you are going to, reward preview. So you can see you can get additional seed, and you get additional hammers and soul shards, which is really important for you to progress. You want to set up a build that is really effective for that content. So what I really like to do often is I like to use this build. where you put in a deer, and then you focus a little bit more on, just because you can't slow those bosses, they start attacking you right away. So you want to go for more like a build that looks something more like this. So later on, you wouldn't use a heal. You ideally here, you actually want to use like Blitz Assault. So you start with Blitz Assault. Over here, you'll change just over to damage immunity. So let me just show you quickly how the setup looks, what it looks like. Let me just edit this one a little bit. So we're gonna let the boss hit us. It will probably take us to 4 seconds. So here we will put the disarm in maybe around 4.5 seconds. And then while the disarm is over, we should be able to heal ourselves. Now, ideally, over here, because I don't have anything better, I'm going to use a heal here. Ideally, what I should put here is like 100 slash. I should put, if I have Blitz Assault, I can open with Blitz Assault, because at higher level of damage, you can't rely on the boss immunity relic, but early game, it still works. So let's just use this for now. This is kind of like the best setup I possibly have. So kind of showcase this build a little bit here as well. So you can see I start off getting myself into damage immunity, and then my disarm goes off, right? And then I'm able to do a little bit of extra damage. So you can see my damage went up quite a bit. Let's do one more. I think there's a way, because you can see heal is actually a horrible idea, because really when you do a certain amount of damage, you're not going to be able to do much more. So here, two options. One, you can use this Wind Gust to further boost your damage. But if you feel like you got good DPS, you can actually try to stun the boss one more time. So here, kind of show you kind of a little bit of the idea around how do you set up a CC chain, and knowing how long each of the skill actually lasts for is really important. So this arm. So the interesting with this arm is this arm with the time statue goes up to 4.8 seconds, and because of the game operating ticks, it actually kind of lasts about 5. The other thing to note is when it comes to disarm actually has animation delay a little bit. So we can actually do something like this. So 5 seconds. So if you do the other way around, it might even be better, because we're doing a few seconds of damage to the boss, but it's not triggering our boss immunity later. So I can actually do something instead like 6 seconds over here, then 8 seconds over here. And this is actually probably the most optimal setup, and making it last as long as possible. And I think with this setup, we should be able to get over 100 billion damage. Let's see if that's true. So here you can see I got a couple of seconds, right? My disarm, I just got it. So actually, you know what? Where's the cancel button? Exit. Well, we got it over, but you can see there was actually more. I wasn't doing enough damage to actually trigger the boss to hit me hard enough to break it. So if I go back here, I can actually do one more, if I had the chance to do one more attack. So I could actually put 1 more second of delay on this. So for example, here, I can actually do, I should actually do 7 seconds of delay, and then 9 seconds here on the disarm. And that probably will be even more optimal, allowing me to cycle back and use a second round of skill on speed up and smoke bomb. So understanding how long you can do damage before you do it, maximizes your damage on some of these boss content. The same setup will be really effective over here on Blazing Caves. And the key thing here is also Michelle, right? Because Michelle is part of your build. The lava boss actually attacks very slowly. So you could actually survive much longer because you're using the Michelle Avian here, so that you're able to stun the boss and get a few extra seconds of damage in. So hopefully you found that helpful. And of course, What I really should be doing here is actually create another set called, bosses. So it's easier to switch back and forth, but, probably should have done that before I started the video. So hopefully you found this really helpful. And with these tips, like I said, progress much further than where you are right now. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Gandolf out.